Yeah, I am the mother of 7 children, actually, and Adria was my 6th. Her delivery wasn't anything any more memorable than the others, except it wasn't more difficult, it was just a bit more sensational. She was the second of my IUD failures. You know those little things that the statistics say 98% effective? You worry about those other 2%? We're good at that. Anyway, we had a lot of discussion, of course, my husband and I, can we really manage 6 kids? And there's a lot of discussion goes into that, but then we kind of did the rollover. So they all rolled over and another one joined the heap and on we went. Yeah, it was a big, happy family. But anyway, the pregnancy proceeded completely normally. There was no problems of any sort. We had amniocentesis, and we had the ultrasound. Everything was completely normal. The doctor agreed we're completely normal. Everything proceeded normally. And on the night of June the 6th, D-Day, 1983, Adria decided it was time to make her move. So my water actually broke at home. It's the only one of my 7 pregnancies where the water broke on its own. It happened on its own at home, and it was a big mess. So that's why she did that. We went and said goodnight to all the other siblings. It was pretty late. We woke them up and told them we were leaving, called in the neighbor and did all the things you're supposed to do. It was a completely fine weather. We drove to the hospital. There was hardly any traffic, and everything went completely normally. We checked into the hospital to the maternity department, and there was our first hiccup. In those days, they let you go late. As she was just mentioning, my first baby was just about 4.5 weeks late, but that was 1972, and your first baby, we don't interfere. That's completely normal. You just you go with your body, as someone else was saying. So the Adria was 3.5 weeks late when we went into the hospital. We had planned on using the birthing unit because our doctor had told us, he agreed with us that everything was so completely normal, there was no reason not to use the birthing unit. For those of you who don't know, the birthing unit or suite is a room that looks like a beautiful bedroom. The bed, the bedside tables, a television, chest of drawers, a bathroom right off the edge of it, and even an extra bed that your husband can stay in if you've got a long wait in there. Then they changed the bed into another kind of hospital bed for delivery, but you can stay in the same room the whole time. The maternity department staff decided that we were not at all qualified to use the space. I had too many complications. It was my 5th child. I was Rh negative. What was the 4th one? I can't remember. But anyway, the last factor was that I was 3.5 weeks overdue, or past the due date. I wasn't really overdue. But anyway, they said all those factors meant that I couldn't do it. I was Rh negative. Did I say that? Anyway. So they said, we can't use that unit, and I was at that time pretty into labor, and we weren't about to have a discussion. So we got admitted to the labor and delivery department. The labor room is one room that's pretty much made of stainless steel and very sterile. And then after you get to some point in your labor, somebody decides you're going to delivery, so they take you in a stretcher long way down the hallway and put you in another room and call that the delivery room. It's even more stainless steel, lots of machines in case anything goes wrong, and that's fine if you've got a complication. So we were in the labor room for about 5 or 6 hours, I guess, because Adria decided she's coming out through my spine, and that didn't seem very successful. She finally changed her mind and came the other way, and that was working pretty well. So the maternity department people decided it was time to move down the hallway. So that meant getting out of the bed and up onto a stretcher. Now, a stretcher's about 7 feet long, I guess, and has, just like the ones in the ambulances, they have side rails that tip up. They're not very wide. The side rails tip up, and they're like double bars on them. So I got under the stretcher. My husband was at the top because I always put the guys at the top out of the way. And just as I got on, I felt some pressure. That was a little unusual, but okay. My husband tells me at that time he was keeping me on the bed because I'd pushed up over the edge of it. So we went out. As we got into the hallway, there was more pressure, and the baby was born. It was I hadn't expected that to happen, but she was born. Now the maternity staff were saying, don't push, we're nearly there, just wait a bit, don't push, we're going. And I'm saying, the baby's born, don't push, just wait, no, the baby's born. Now this time, I could feel the baby sloshing around between my knees. So then I suddenly had this picture of her sliding out under the rails on the stretcher. So I had to put my feet together, put my knees down as flat as I could get them, and kind of made a little bowl in the middle. So there she was, sliding around. And they were still telling me not to push, but somehow or other my husband, who was keeping me on the top of the stretcher, managed to communicate, and somebody lifted up the blanket and said, "Oh, she's right! Big deal. The baby was born." So then there was deathly silence. This I will remember forever. There was complete silence after all the commotion and getting me out and don't push and yelling. There was deadly silence while they said, I'm not sterile. So we went round the 4 or 5 people who were there saying they weren't sterile. Meantime, the baby's sloshing around. So then some nurse came down, an older woman came down the hallway trying to find out what on earth all the fuss was about. They told her. She lifted up the blanket, picked up the baby, and at last I could relax. So off we went, all of us, down to the delivery room. It was a little late for that, but anyway. The baby was 9 pounds, 3 ounces, healthy, had a big knot in her cord, and it was all artfully draped around her neck. She should never have made it to the due date, let alone 3.5 weeks later. But, the best laid plans, and as simple as they can be, can just go out the window in the flash of an eye. So everything was fine. We had a great delivery, and she's a wonderful mother of 4 now. Thanks.